Hi, I'm Shiloh Branigan from Amarillo Brewing Supply, and today I'm going to brew a ginger beer. What we need is some grain. This is 2.5 pounds of pilsen malt and 3 ounces of honey malt and 2 ounces of caramel 20. We also have Motueka hops. We don't want a huge hop bitterness, but we want enough to offset the sweetness of the grains. And then we have Nottingham yeast, we have ginger, and we have lemon zest and lemon juice, and we have lime zest and lime juice. We also have our refractometer. We have our sanitized 2.5 gallon fermenter. We have a little thing of sanitizer right here, and then we have our boil pot. And we're also going to be mashing in here. It's just going to be a simple brew in the bag, 60-minute mash, and a 60-minute boil. I went ahead and heated up our water to 150, so it's ready right here, and I put the grains in a disposable brew bag. If you want to use a reusable one, that's awesome, but we're going to use this today. We started with 2 gallons of water. This is only going to be a 2-gallon recipe. So go ahead and add your grains. Poke it around a bit. You want to make sure that there aren't any dry spots. You want to make sure that the water gets through the grains and soaks up everything. Tie the bag very loosely so that you're able to use your spoon to mash the grains around. We're going to put the lid back on and let this mash for about 30 minutes. Our strike temp was 150 for a target temperature of 140 to 145. This will activate our beta enzymes. We will mash it at this temp for about 20 minutes, and then we'll start to raise the temperature to 155. This will take about 10 minutes. At 155, this activates our alpha enzymes, and we'll let it mash at 155 for about 30 minutes. After we mash for about 60 minutes, we will start our sparge, and we'll use 1 gallon of about 170 degree sparge water for a total volume of 3 gallons at the start of our boil. Our temperature is at 155, so we're going to turn off the heat and let this continue to mash for 30 minutes. Now we're ready to do our sparge. We've been heating up our sparge water for the last few minutes of our mash. So I'm going to take the grains out of our mash and put them into our sparge kettle and steep them for about 5 minutes, poking with the spoon. I want to make sure I get all of those excess sugars out of the grain. So I'm going to be moving it around a lot, poking it with the spoon to make sure that all of those sugars flow out of the grain. Again, the sparge water is at 170. We're done with our grain, so I'm going to go ahead and take the grain bag out. You don't need to squeeze your grain bag. You just let it drain what you can and then throw it away or feed it to your chickens or do whatever you want with it. I'm going to save mine to make granola later. Now we're going to add our sparge water back into the boil kettle. Now it's time for our boil, so we're going to put this on our burner and turn on the heat and let it get to a boil. It'll be a 60-minute boil with a 30-minute hop addition. Normally there's a 60-minute hop addition. We don't want our ginger beer to be very bitter though, so we're going to do a 30-minute hop addition only with a very small amount of Motueka hops. At 5 minutes, we're going to do the lemon peel, the lime peel, and the ginger. And then at flame out, we're going to do more ginger and lemon juice and lime juice. We've hit the 60-minute mark. We're at a rolling boil right now. We want to maintain that rolling boil. Pilsen malt, it produces a lot of DMS, so you need to maintain that rolling boil in order to burn off that DMS. Now, as a side note, normally when you're working with Pilsen malt, you want a 90-minute boil. We're only doing a 60-minute today. We're going to add our 30-minute hop addition now, and we put it in a little bag to reduce the sediment, and just drop it in. Now in 25 minutes, we'll come back and put in our lemon and lime peel and our first addition of ginger. We're 5 minutes away from adding our lemon and lime peel, but we're going to go ahead and add our wort chiller to the boil so we can sanitize it. We have a 2 wort chiller system going because it's kind of warm outside. Our hose alone wouldn't be sufficient to cool our wort down to what we need, which is about 65. So we have a wort chiller in a pot off camera that we're going to fill with ice, and we have the wort chiller in the boil kettle. So we're going to run our hose water through the wort chiller in the pot off camera, and then that will run through this. So we'll have nice cold water in our boil pot wort chiller. We're at the last 5 minutes of our boil, so I'm going to add the lemon and lime peel and half of our ginger. This is the zest of 1 lemon and 1 lime, and it will be 1 ounce of ginger at 5 minutes. In another 5 minutes, we'll add the lemon and lime juice and 1 ounce of ginger. We're at the end of the boil, so I'm going to kill the heat, add the lemon and lime juice, and the rest of the ginger. And I'm just going to add the juice of half of a lemon and half of a lime. Now we're going to turn on our hose for the wort chiller and cool this down to about 65, and then we're going to pitch our Nottingham yeast. And we also have a little bit of ginger reserved for the secondary fermentation. I've taken a sample of our wort, and we're going to check the gravity real quick. And our gravity is at 1.042. Our wort is down to 65 degrees, so we're going to go ahead and transfer it into our primary bucket. It's our little 2.5 gallon bucket. And we are also going to reserve some to bottle, so we'll have some non-alcoholic ginger beer. I put a little mesh strainer above our bucket just to catch some of the sediment. And we're going to try to leave as much of the tube behind as possible. Now we're going to go ahead and stir in our yeast. I've chosen Nottingham, which is a English ale yeast. We sanitize the packet beforehand and, of course, sanitize the scissors. If you prefer to, you can rehydrate your yeast before adding it. I decided to just directly pitch. It's a 2-gallon batch and the Nottingham packet will do 5 gallons, so there's plenty of yeast cells in there to do 2 gallons. Now we'll let this sit for about 10 minutes and we'll fill our bottles that are going to be our non-alcoholic soda. Now we're going to bottle about 10 12-ounce bottles of our ginger beer for our non-alcoholic ginger beer. And all we need is the bottle wand, auto siphon, the bottle capper, caps, and of course bottles. The non-alcoholic ginger beer is all sugar, so we don't need priming sugar to carbonate the bottles. We're going to let them ferment for a couple days, and then we're going to stick them in the refrigerator. The rest of our alcoholic ginger beer will be fermented in primary for 7 days, and then transferred to secondary, where we will add an additional 1 ounce of ginger. Thanks for watching. I'm Shiloh Branigan with Amarillo Brewing Supply. Please subscribe to our channel and be sure to check out our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Amarillo Brewing Supply. It's 145 for our, and raise the temperature to 155. And we're done with this. Will make our boil.
Blue. Blue.
Mosquitoes! Ah! It's in my face. Oh, there's a mosquito. What is... 1 gallon of 170-degree water.